A single bloodbead, carrying countless tortured souls, shot straight toward Xiaoyan. The Northern Dragon King laughed arrogantly, but in the very next second, his smile froze, because he didn't know the flame in Xiaoyan's hand could purify even souls. If you enjoy the way I make my videos, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. The bloodbead whistled through the empty void before finally smashing toward Xiaoyan under countless gazes. At that instant, everyone's hearts clenched tightly. No one can hinder this king. The Northern Dragon King's scarlet eyes were fixed on the collision point. A wild, triumphant laugh burst from his mouth, yet before it could fully escape, it abruptly froze as though his throat had been crushed. Xiaoyan's calm expression was reflected clearly in the Northern Dragon King's stunned pupils. From Xiaoyan's palm, a vivid, lifelike pink ring of flame spread outward. At its center hovered the bloodbead, once overflowing with a thick, bloody stench. Yet now that aura rapidly faded as it was purified by the purifying demonic lotus flame. How is this possible? Just what kind of heavenly flame is this? The Northern Dragon King roared in disbelief as he watched the blood bead rotate slowly above Xiaoyan's palm, silent, intact, and no longer responding to him. The instant it landed in Xiaoyan's hand, his connection to it had been completely severed. The purifying demonic lotus flame purifies all things, Xiaoyan said calmly. Even souls are not spared. His pink crystal-like hand rose slightly. The flame surged forth, enveloping the blood bead as its bloody essence was rapidly cleansed away. Purifying demonic lotus flame. How can this brat possess such a flame? The Northern Dragon King's pupils shrank violently. Despite the fury surging within his heart, an icy chill crept up his spine. Even though the ancient Void Dragon tribe had not ventured into the Central Plains for many years, the fearsome reputation of this flame was something they knew all too well. Xiaoyan ignored his shock. The flame in his hand danced as he slowly lifted it higher. A pale pink sphere the size of a human head appeared. It was the blood bead, now fully purified. Within it lingered faint soul fluctuations, the devoured souls of the ancient dragon tribe members. "They are begging me," Xiaoyan said softly, glancing at the Northern Dragon King with a faint smile, "to return this to you." He flicked his finger. The pink bead shot forth like a meteor, its target, now the Northern Dragon King himself. "Bastard." Terror flashed across the Northern Dragon King's face. Without another word, he spun around and retreated at full speed. He knew far too well how terrifying the energy inside that bead was. If it struck him, there would be no survival. Swoosh! Yet no matter how fast he fled, the pink bead was faster. Countless human faces surfaced upon its surface, their expressions twisted with rage and resentment. A flash of light followed, and before everyone's eyes it caught up to the Northern Dragon King and detonated before his horrified gaze. Bang! A terrifying energy storm erupted, sweeping wildly across the heavens. Wave after wave of violent energy dispersed nearly half of the bloody Dao Qi that had blanketed Dragon Island below. Did he win? Members of the ancient Void Dragon tribe stared in disbelief, mouths agape. A heartbeat later, wild joy surged through their eyes as thunderous cheers echoed across the sky. "Mr. Xiaoyan is truly extraordinary. He even purified the Dragon Soul bead's bloody Dao Qi." The elders of Eastern Dragon Island wore expressions of immense relief. It seemed the heavens had not forsaken their tribe after all. "The Dragon Emperor's friend is truly our tribe's blessing," Elder Zhu Li said, stroking his beard as he glanced toward the First Elder. "This favor can never be repaid." The First Elder hesitated briefly before nodding. "Once our tribe reunites, we will form an alliance with the Sky Mansion Alliance." Zhu Li smiled faintly. 2 years ago, Xian's proposal had faced resistance, but after Xiaoyan's repeated rescues, no one could object any longer. Xian quietly exhaled in relief. These stubborn elders had finally set aside their pride. As joy filled the air, the energy storm slowly dissipated. A battered, miserable figure emerged from the fading chaos. "He's still alive." Shock rippled through the crowd, even after such a devastating attack. The Northern Dragon King clung to life. His vitality was terrifying. The ancient Void Dragon body truly lives up to its name. Xiaoyan raised his brows slightly. Without such a physical body, the Northern Dragon King would have been reduced to ashes long ago. Huh. The Northern Dragon King panted heavily, his dim scarlet eyes filled with venom as they locked onto Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan, remember this. This king will return, and I will have my revenge." With a furious roar, his body shot backward as he attempted to flee. "Don't let him escape," Ziyan cried anxiously, but Xiaoyan was already moving. His fire wings flared, and in a flash of lightning he gave chase. "You think you can kill me, dream on." The Northern Dragon King waved his hand in desperation. 10 figures were hurled toward Xiaoyan like cannonballs. Xiaoyan frowned, human shields. Before he could react, 7 colored lights shot forth from behind him, wrapping around the captives and pulling them safely away. "Finish him," Kailin's voice rang out. Xiaoyan did not hesitate. With a burst of speed, he appeared above the Northern Dragon King. His crystal hand descended like a guillotine. "I'll die with you all." Driven mad with fear, the Northern Dragon King began to swell self-destruction. More. An enormous spiritual phantom erupted from Xiaoyan's body. The yellow spring divine anger smashed down mercilessly, crushing the Northern Dragon King's soul with searing agony. His body shrank instantly. In the next breath, Xiaoyan's hand gently landed atop his head. "Don't kill me, you win, I'll give up everything." The Northern Dragon King screamed in terror. Xiaoyan smiled faintly. "You surrender quickly." Then his smile vanished. "But killing you is simpler." A scorching force invaded the Northern Dragon King's skull. His soul was instantly incinerated by the purifying demonic lotus flame. Xiaoyan withdrew his hand. The Northern Dragon King's body collapsed like mud. Silence blanketed the battlefield. All eyes stared at the corpse, eyes still wide with hatred. Xiaoyan returned to his original form, his face pale with exhaustion. He glanced at the body and raised his brows thoughtfully. "This body is not a bad treasure." Ziyan rushed over in a flash, while Xiaoyan was still holding the corpse of the Northern Dragon King. Her expression was complicated as her gaze lingered on his face, still twisted with darkness, cruelty and ferocity even in death. She let out a soft sigh. The ancient Void Dragon tribe had been battered by countless years of internal strife. The disappearance of the Dragon Emperor back then had plunged the entire tribe into chaos, leaving behind a wound that had never truly healed. 50 to 60% of the Northern Dragon Island's members were slaughtered by the Northern Dragon King, Ziyan said quietly as she looked toward the island below, still shrouded in bloody aura. "This has greatly worsened the already severe losses of our tribe. Fortunately, the Western and Southern Dragon Islands did not suffer as badly. Now that the 3 great Dragon Kings are all dead, nothing will be able to stop the reunification of our people." Xiaoyan slowly nodded. Though Eastern Dragon Island had emerged victorious, the price Ziyan had paid was far too heavy. As Dragon Emperor, she had placed the tribe above everything else. To her, every dragon, whether from the Eastern Island or the other 3, belonged to the ancient Void Dragon tribe. "This is still a good beginning," Xiaoyan said after a brief silence. "With you uniting the ancient Dragon clan as Dragon Emperor, restoring the tribe's former glory is not impossible." Ziyan sighed softly. She understood better than anyone how vast the gap was between the current tribe and its peak. At its height, the ancient Void Dragon tribe had rivaled super factions like the Gu clan. Now its experts were either dead or scattered, and holding everything together alone would be an immense challenge. No one knew how long it would take to recover. "Ha, don't be so discouraged," Xiaoyan said, patting her head lightly. "You possess the legendary Dragon Phoenix constitution. Given enough time, you'll surpass even the former Dragon Emperors. When that happens, restoring the tribe won't be empty talk." Ziyan smiled. Xiaoyan was right. Though the present state of the tribe was grim, she still carried the legendary Dragon Phoenix bloodline. Once fully awakened, she would be inferior to no Dragon Emperor, including her missing father, the previous Dragon Emperor, whom she had never met. "Thank you," Ziyan said sincerely. "If the 2 of you hadn't rushed over in time—" "There's no need for such courtesy," Xiaoyan replied, shaking his head. Then he lifted the Northern Dragon King's corpse and asked, "Can you give this to me?" Ziyan froze. "What do you want his corpse for?" "This fellow's body is terrifyingly strong," Xiaoyan explained after a moment's hesitation. "He was further tempered by the transforming dragon-demon formation. If I refine him into a puppet, it would be extremely powerful." The sky demon puppets Xiaoyan owned were limited by their materials and could not advance beyond Daozun. Such strength was useless to him now. But the Northern Dragon King already dead was different. Letting such a body go to waste would be a shame. According to tradition, powerful ancient dragons are buried in the Dragon Tomb, Ziyan said, frowning slightly. She then glanced at Xiaoyan's helpless expression and sighed. However, you've rendered our tribe a great service. Besides, the tribe harbors deep hatred toward this man. Even if I brought him back, he wouldn't be allowed into the dragon tomb. Take his body if you need it. In that case, my thanks, Your Majesty, the Dragon Emperor, Xiaoyan said with a grin. Ziyan laughed softly. You should rest on Eastern Dragon Island for now. With the 3 great dragon kings dead, I must begin preparations to reorganize the 4 dragon islands. Xiaoyan nodded. He still had unfinished business in the empty realm. With no urgent matters pressing him, refining this puppet first was the obvious choice. Several days later, Xiaoyan stood solemnly within a chamber. Hundreds of materials floated before him, each radiating mysterious light. These were the ingredients needed to refine a puppet. A body as precious as the Northern Dragon Kings required nothing less than the finest materials. Xiaoyan carefully inspected each item, nodding in satisfaction. He had nearly emptied the Dragon Island's storerooms. Just recalling the warehouse elder's pained expression made him laugh softly. With a wave of his hand, a massive figure floated forward. The corpse of the Northern Dragon King. His eyes were tightly shut, his face pale and lifeless. Yet his body remained taut and unyielding, so hard that even a blade could not leave a mark. Xiaoyan had to admit that even his own body was far inferior. The ancient Void Dragon tribe truly possessed monstrous physiques. Xiaoyan glanced at the 3 ferocious faces fused into the Dragon King's head and shook his head slightly. The source of this terrifying body was obvious: the blood and flesh of the Western and Southern Dragon Kings. Puff. A cluster of pink flames burst from Xiaoyan's mouth, swelling rapidly into a massive furnace. With a flick of his hand, he tossed the corpse inside. Sizzle, sizzle. The moment the body entered the furnace, its surface hissed violently. Streams of blood seeped out, only to evaporate instantly under the terrifying heat. Xiaoyan remained expressionless. This was merely the tempering stage. 10 full days passed. Without rest, Xiaoyan continuously refined the body, using the purifying demonic lotus flame. When the process finally ended, the Northern Dragon King's body had shrunk by nearly 3 layers. Yet despite its reduced size, it was still far more imposing than an ordinary body. The corpse now resembled a mass of dark, glimmering black metal. Every inch of its surface was smooth and cold, as though it had been forged by countless ages of refinement. Even without a trace of Du Qi circulating within it, the body emitted a suffocating pressure that weighed heavily upon the surrounding space itself, causing the air to tremble faintly. Xiaoyan stood before it, his eyes shining with restrained excitement. The blood has already fused completely with the muscles, bones, and marrow, he murmured, carefully observing the body as though admiring a flawless masterpiece. Every strand of flesh has been tempered to the extreme. A faint smile curved his lips. This truly is the perfect killing machine. With a calm wave of his hand, the last remnants of the purifying demonic lotus flame slowly withdrew. The pink light faded away like a dying sunset, leaving behind only the massive furnace and the silent, motionless corpse suspended within it. For a brief moment, everything was utterly still. Then, bang, a deafening explosion tore through the chamber. The instant the purifying demonic lotus flame vanished, the corpse's tightly shut eyes snapped open without warning. 2 beams of scarlet light burst forth, slicing through the darkness like blood-soaked blades. An icy, malicious aura flooded the chamber, causing the temperature to plummet in an instant. Crack, crack, crack. The surface of the furnace shattered as if it were made of fragile glass. A terrifying force surged outward, sending fragments flying in all directions. Before Xiaoyan could even react, a massive hand, black metallic, and filled with overwhelming power, shot out from the collapsing furnace, tearing through space itself as it lunged straight toward his chest. A hoarse, sinister laugh echoed through the chamber, carrying with it boundless madness and hatred. Xiaoyan. The voice was unmistakable, cold, cruel, brimming with mockery. Thank you for helping this king perfect his body. The figure slowly stepped out from the ruins of the shattered furnace. His body radiated a dark metallic sheen, and scarlet light flickered within his eyes like burning embers. Though there was no Du Qi fluctuation, the pressure he emitted alone caused the chamber's protective formations to creak and distort. To repay you, the Northern Dragon King continued, his smile twisting into something inhuman. I shall let you witness just how terrifying this body truly is. His laughter grew louder, sharper, reverberating like thunder. If you must blame something, he sneered, spreading his arms wide, then blame your arrogance for merely scattering my soul. The scarlet glow within his eyes flared violently. For us ancient void dragons, the body is the soul, and the soul is the body. As his final words fell, a monstrous aura erupted from his form. The space around him distorted violently, and the ground beneath Xiaoyan's feet cracked apart under the invisible pressure. It was as though an ancient ferocious dragon had truly returned from death itself. Xiaoyan's pupils shrank sharply. A chill crept up his spine. This presence, it was no illusion. It was no remnant soul. The corpse before him was no longer a lifeless puppet. The Northern Dragon King had truly revived.